Today I'm going to make a video about the difference between the rappers Marz with a Z and Marz with an S. Marz with a Z, he's from Chicago, Illinois. He was actually born in Croatia. He was on Dark Lotus in their first release, Tales of the Lotus Pod, but it was re-released and re-recorded with ABK. Where ABK replaced all of his verses and they put ABK's verses in. It was after they had a falling out. He was on the Psychopathic sampler in 2001, but he was never actually signed to Psychopathic because he could not get out of contract with Imagination Records, and it led to a dispute between ICP and Marz. And Marz recorded a diss track towards ICP, saying that he was the sixth Joker's card. Marz toured with Korn in 2002, and during this time he did stuff with Swizz Beatz and Jonathan Davis. And he had a song called Gorilla Pimpin' where he apparently thanked Juggalos. And Jonathan Davis and ICP never really got along since Violent J said something, I guess, about Jonathan Davis, the singer of Korn's childhood. And I guess Marz refused and self-released the album Gorilla Pimpin', which has a song called Cutthroat that featured Jonathan Davis on it. And even after the argument, Jonathan Davis and Marz were still cool. And from what I see on Wikipedia, he hasn't released anything with his label or by himself with anything since 2010. And he was featured in a lot of things. It seems like he's done a lot of mainstream stuff with like Lil Mama, and he was in the Kia Soul commercial as music, I guess. He was featured in Do What You Want to Do. He was featured on some ministry stuff when he was still with the band. Basically, I don't know, man. I don't know if he's still a juggalo or not. It seems like he's fallen off the face of the earth. But moving on to Marz, who I actually think is pretty dope. He was in the newest EP that Boondocks has put out with Class and Buckshot, which are amazing MCs. It's a group, a super group, if you will, called the Underground Avengers. And their album is, I believe it's self-titled. It's they have the last track on it is called Exit Wounds, and it has a bunch of people on it. I'll look up real quick who all is on it, but it's crazy. Like a bunch of people from the underground that are really well known, in my opinion, and they're really good. I believe Marz, he's last on the track. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is. Basically, the song is, I believe in order of them rapping is, Buckshot, Boondocks, Class, Psycho Jesus, Liquid Assassin, Kid Crusher, which is actually one of my favorite artists, Whitney Payton, the ROC, Gruesome, Ajax, Scum, F-Ducks, Jason Porter, Ronnie Blaze, Darko, and Sutter Kane. Never So Deep, their label, crazy. Kung Fu Vampire and Marz is last. And the song is over 9 minutes long, and it's really good. You should look it up. The whole EP is great, though. I believe it was a free release, but I believe they also sold it. They're either going to sell it at this gathering or they sold it last year. I don't really know about that, but he has released 11 albums, it looks like. It looks like some of them are limited edition, like re-releases, if you will. And actually, he has a lot of things to do with Kung Fu Vampire. He was in the music video for Love Bites. I guess he releases his music on Mad Insanity Records, including his most recent EP, the Zodiac Mixtape, or as an LP, on March 20th, 2012. But right now, he's actually going to start a tour with DJ Clay. I think it's called Scratch the Surface Tour or something. I don't remember what exactly it's called. But it says he began rapping in '97 with a childhood friend, JRZ, who formed Mad Insanity Records to release their basement-style tapes locally. And I guess his stage name Marz had been called by his classmates as a short version of Mario. In 1998, he released his first unofficial product called SIDS on homemade cassettes and CDRs. Topics, I guess, range from rape, suicide, murder, and abortion. The tape is now considered a collector's item by fans. It says in 2008, Psychopathic Records and sublabel Hatchet House made Tunnel Runners. It's actually an EP I've actually heard of. It's a compilation of material from underground rappers and groups signed to their roster. The compilation actually went top 25 on the Billboards its first week in rap albums. After the Marz track on it, called They Watching Me, was one of the more popular tracks, and Violent J invited Marz to perform on the Shock Therapy tour with ABK, Blaze, Boondocks, and Axe Murder Boys, but Boondocks had issues after surgery, and Marz replaced him on the 2008 Hella Wicked tour. And in 2009, Marz was got a lot of attention and bad negative feedback from people because of Richard Sam Murkowski, otherwise Psycho Sam. He was a Juggalo rapper who was accused of killing 4 people. And Marz told law enforcement that he had signed autographs for him at various events before the murders. And he was interviewed several times these were including CBS News, Fox News, ABC News, and CNN. He was born in Antioch, California. He was raised in East Contra Costa County, primarily in the city of Pittsburgh, and attended Liberty High School. He has 2 daughters and a son. And he does a lot of promotional things for Kung Fu, as I explained earlier. And I believe he was on the newest Love Bites album from Kung Fu Vampire, if I remember right. But he has countless guest appearances, like ridiculous amounts of features and things. And it shows he's been in videos for people like DJ Clay, Kung Fu Vampire, DRP, Mastermind, and a few other people. He's had tours with, his tours were the Marz Through the Hell and Back tour in 2007. He was on Psychopathic Shock Therapy in 2008, Hella Wicked in 2008. He had his own, The Gat to School tour in 2009, Esham's Hell of a Night tour in 2009, Murder After Midnight tour co-headlining in 2009, Marz Domestic Violence in 2010. He did some dates for the Slaughterhouse tour with Kung Fu Vampire in 2010 for Twisted, which was amazing. That tour was great. It was actually the first time I'd ever heard of Kung Fu, but Marz wasn't at that show, sadly. He did a tour with DGAF in 2010, Kung Fu Vampire Dead for Life tour in 2010. Marz and Psycho Jesus had their own tour where they co-headlined. Gospel of the Grave tour in 2011. He was on Boondocks' Low Down and Dirty tour 2011 and 12. Marz Zodiac tour in 2012. Marz and Mastermind Keep It Real tour 2012. Kung Fu Vampire Love Bites 2012. Marz and Herb to Phenom Raw Energy tour in 2013. And as I said earlier, I guess it is the Scratch the Surface tour of DJ Clay in 2013. So he's just, seems like since 2007, he's just been touring non-stop and just put in time, I guess. So that's pretty cool. I'm actually going to play you a little bit of each of the artists, just so you can see what each of them sound like. Personally, I prefer Marz with an S, but I'm going to play you Marz with a Z first, just because I know a little bit more about it, and the song is from their Dark Lotus album. Bitch I'm Sexy is the song. It's off of Tales of the Lotus Pod, the first issue, like the first pressing of it. And here's Marz's part in the song, like the last 20 or 30 seconds of the song.
Hey, yo, Marz. What's up? Man, how the fuck do you play these wannabe juggalettes? Shit, I whip out my dick and spit on you, bitch. Piss on your tits and shit in your sink. So what's up, slut? Now I'm ready to fuck up in that ass or the cunt while I load the shit go. My dick's gotta work, my balls gotta lump. Raw dog up in the whole bitch, fuck a condom. I knock a bitch out and fuck a limb body. We're hippin' already, let's start the party.
I mean, the lyrics are alright, but actually I like his flow quite a bit. He actually brought a lot to the table with the first issue, but I actually prefer the ABK pressing of the album. But also, if you want to listen to his more Juggalo-related stuff, like, let me try to find the Juggalo family verse with where he's at in it, right here.
Here, I'm gonna make myself clear. It's the L family, juggalos right shit. You could take away my mic, you could take away this life, but the love that we got, it ain't never gonna stop. We eternal, past this earthly bullshit. Dogs on another level, can you feel this? It's Twisted, Blaze, and ICP. And if you fucking with my dogs, boy, you D.I.E.
And like that, honestly, is probably one of my favorite verses I've ever heard in Psychopathic. I mean, he doesn't say too much, but he also says everything at all within that verse. Like, to me, like, that was one of the first songs I got into in like 2009 when I first became a Juggalo. Just like, that song just meant so much, and it really it made me understand what Violent J and Shaggy 2 Dope have started and have just blown up, and it's really made me understand what being a Juggalo is about and how they truly care about us. And the only other verse that I really can think of off the top of my head that says that was one of Jamie's verses in We Don't Die, where he talks about how we bleed for y'all, that's why we call it family. That verse was just sick, too. Now, that's Marz with a Z, and I'm going to play you some of Marz with an S. I'm going to play you one of his songs, which I've actually never heard. But it's the first thing that came up on YouTube, and I've listened, so I'll play that for you, just so you can see what Marz sounds like with Marz with an S, and then I'll play his verse, which I really, really like, off of Exit Wounds. So here's a song, No Face Killer.
You can pray your fucking day, but it ain't no way you'll make it in. Take away your faith and friends, family, and what's left for unknown assailants. Lacing a slut's death, I ain't a suspect. I ain't on the list, I'm a no-face killer. They don't know I exist. I got my 9mm situation getting drunk.
It's pretty good. I mean, I didn't really feel the beat too much, but like, for his sound and flow is really good. Like, it's really unique. Like, because I like rappers that you can tell who they are as soon as you hear them, and Marz with an S is definitely one of the rappers that you can definitely feel that with, in my opinion. Now, here I'm gonna talk a little bit more about the Psycho Sam case while I look up the Exit Wounds. Basically, Psycho Sam was a rapper from Farmville, Virginia, who was accused of a quadruple bludgeoning homicide. His estranged wife, their daughter, and her friend. Now, this took place in 2009. 3 bodies were found downstairs, and 1 was found in the room upstairs. I guess this all happened after a horrorcore fest. That he frequently would go to those, I guess. That's what I've read. I guess Marz with an S, sort of got blamed for a lot of this just because he was a fan, and a lot of things along with that just, I guess they decided that because Marz made the music it was his fault, which is, in my opinion, never the right mentality. If I could find the interview real quick for his ABC interview where he talks about Psycho Sam and everything. You can just really see how
they were joined by
he talks about
Marz, Mario Delgado, 29 years old, out of Pittsburgh. And Marz, thanks for being here. All right, so listen, start off with me. We've been talking about this kid, Richard McCroskey. He calls himself Psycho Sam. What do you know about him?
Well, I know this kid used to go to all my shows, all the autograph signings. I'd see him out of state at the shows, and he'd go to all the functions, man. I know he was a big horrorcore supporter, man. You know, I've met the kid before, and it's always a tragedy when something like this happens, you know?
Yeah, what went through your mind when you heard what happened?
First thing I thought, I was like, man, not again, because the media always tries to blame it on me, like I was the one who committed the crime. But really, I just do entertainment. You know, I'm an entertainer, and this kid kind of took it a little too far.
A little too far, to say the least. But you told me that you've met this young man. He's quite a fan, right? You've seen him at concerts.
I've seen him at concerts. He would message me on MySpace. He would email me. All kinds of stuff, man. I've seen the kid around so much that I knew exactly who it was when they said who it was.
And you told me that he actually gave you the creeps.
Well, you know, so much that where I kind of got a weird vibe about him, you know what I mean? But then again, in this genre, all the fans are a little off anyways, because, you know, to listen to this kind of music, you know, you could either just be entertained by horror or stuff like that, but every once in a while you get one of them fans be like, wow, this guy shouldn't listen to this music, he's gonna do something crazy. But I never really got that vibe from him, but I felt like when I met him he was kind of creepy, you know.
The lyrics obviously push the envelope really far, but you said that's what the genre is all about. But what happens when someone takes it seriously and murders in the name of horrorcore, which apparently happened here?
Well, I mean, it's happened a bunch of times, and not only just horrorcore music, but in rock and roll and everything. You know, it can't just be horrorcore music. It happens to video games. But just because our genre is such an extreme genre of music, we talk about all the taboo subjects. We really push the envelope. We're really extreme with our lyrics. We try to shock you. That's the biggest thing, is shocking you. And when something like this happens, it gets more attention because, like, well, he just said that because he was talking about murder in this song, or suicide in this song, or shooting up this and that in this song. And it just boils down to, again, it's just entertainment, and these kids, you know, maybe something growing up wasn't just right, and they take this form of entertainment and it becomes fantasy for them as an outlet, you know what I mean? Instead of killing themselves, they listen to a song about killing themselves, and it may get them through the day, you know what I mean? But in other cases, you never know. I guess apparently he took it the other route.
And when people take it that other route, I mean, at what point do you accept any responsibility for lyrics that might have encouraged murder?
Well, I kind of figured, you know, I'm doing my job, and as a horrorcore artist, I keep putting out extreme lyrics, offensive lyrics, you know, the best music as possible. As an artist, that's my job, is making the best music possible within my genre. You know, that's all I'm doing. You know, Stephen King makes movies. He makes the best horror movies as possible. If somebody watches that and kills themselves, like, Stephen King's not going to be like, man, probably should have never made that movie. Of course not. You know what I mean? If they're crazy, they're crazy. Whatever happened to just being crazy?
Yeah, well, yeah, and so that's one of the questions I'm sure they'll be looking at on the scene as police investigators check this out. But I understand the investigators have talked to you about this. What did they ask you?
Well, basically, they kind of wanted to know like what horrorcore was all about. You know, they wanted to know, okay, this kid listens to your music. Tell us about your music, because, you know what I mean? Out there, you know, there hasn't been really much with the murder and violent media together. You know, he wanted to know exactly what the kid might have been thinking, what he's been exposed to as far as entertainment goes, what could have been in his mind. You know, if I was his favorite artist, what did I rap about? What could have been where this kid was listening to it and got the idea, or he just kind of wanted to know exactly if he was.
So basically, to me, Marz makes a lot of good points. Like, it's not his fault that some kid's crazy. It's not his fault that some kid snapped. That's just his music. His thoughts were portrayed in these songs, and these kids just take it too far because they're not right in the head. ICP said the same thing. So many artists have just said the same thing. And apparently people just can't get that through their skulls. But, I guess, the last thing I really want to say is, just let me know what you guys think. Who do you think is the better MC, like, from what you've heard? Who do you prefer a little bit more? Me, obviously, since I covered more about Marz with an S, I prefer him. I actually wanted to go to his tour, but it's on a weekend, and I never have weekends off from work, so it's kind of a bummer there. But I guess just let me know, and actually, if someone could let me know, before making this video, I didn't think about it, but could someone let me know if Marz claims being a juggalo, because he's definitely down. Well, Marz with an S, he's definitely down with the family and does a lot of things. Like, obviously, he's touring with DJ Clay, so. Just comment, subscribe, like, whatever. Let me know, and peace. Much call and love.